Well, hello. My name's Laura. And I'm Rose, and we're Six Foods because 6 legs are better than 4, and we make healthy, delicious, sustainable foods from insects. So actually up here, these are mealworm tacos that we once made.
So you guys might wonder how we got into this. So I was an African Studies major in college, and I was studying abroad in Tanzania, and I met this street vendor selling fried caterpillars. And I'm a vegetarian, so I was thinking, how do insects fit this idea of vegetarianism? But I was really curious, so I bought a fried caterpillar and put it in my mouth, and bit down. My first thought was, this tastes like lobster. And so I started getting really excited about this idea of eating insects. And doing research, the United Nations had just come out with this 200-page report about why insects are the food of the future. So I sent an article to my college roommate, Rose, about eating insects.
And I always joke that, so Laura's from Seattle. And so I was like, okay, sure, Laura. But I actually just came back from China where I had a fried scorpion. And I had the same reaction that she did, which is, oh my gosh, this tastes like shrimp. And so when she told me her story, I was much more willing to read the article. And by the end, the question really was, why are we not eating insects?
So to give you as an example, it takes 2,000 gallons of water to make 1 pound of beef. It takes 1 gallon of water to make a pound of crickets. Similarly, crickets produce 100 times fewer greenhouse gas emissions than cows. And when it comes to health, insects are really a superfood. They're high in protein, low in fat, full of vitamins and minerals. Crickets are about 70% protein when dried, beef's about 50%.
But something that we're really, really excited about is the potential for urban farming. So you can't raise cows or pigs or, other big animals in the cities and indoors, but you can raise crickets indoors. And so this is actually us at Youngstown, Ohio, where we helped start one of the first ever urban cricket farms. And so the idea is also crickets can feed on food waste. So you can take your food scraps from the local grocery stores and restaurants and then redirect that food waste back into the food system. So that's really what we're building towards, which is this very sustainable food system.
But the big question is, how do we get Americans to actually eat insects? But little did you guys know, you're actually already eating insects. So insects are found in everything from spinach to beer to you're actually needed to make the hard coating on things like candy and sprinkles. Plus, most of the world already eats insects. About 80% of countries are already eating insects.
Yes, so then we ran to the innovation lab at Harvard and we basically said, okay, so we have this big idea, what do we do? And we actually, one of our funny stories is we made mealworm tacos, which you guys saw earlier, and brought it to the innovation lab, and it was our first pitch competition. And we put it in the fridge, and came back 2 hours later, realizing we forgot to label it, and people didn't realize they were eating mealworm tacos, and so there were only 5 left, which was awesome, because people liked the taste of it, but they didn't know what they were eating. So then we brought it to the judges, and we said, okay, look at what just happened, you should totally try this, and they're like, no way. It's too close to the insect. So that's how we transitioned to cricket flour, which is what we use now. It's 100% of the cricket ground, milled into a flour.
Cool. So our conclusion is that we now are introducing chirps. This is saying that they're much better when you can't see them, can't taste them. So introducing chirps. So chirps, because they have cricket flour in them, they've got 3 times the protein and half the fat of normal chips, and they're gluten-free. You guys probably got to try some of them today.
You'll notice that the chip here is very different from the chip we're offering to show you, as an entrepreneur, the different changes you can make. But essentially what happened was people thought that they were dark because of the crickets, which turned people off, which is why we then transitioned to a lighter colored chip. So,
So we launched a Kickstarter last May. Our goal was $30,000. We ended up raising $70,000. We're one of the most funded food Kickstarters. But the big question was still how people were going to react. Were people really going to eat this?
And so we actually got really lucky. We got picked up by Yahoo on the second day of our Kickstarter, and they featured us on the front page, and they had a short article about us, and at the end they asked, would you eat chips with bugs in them? They got the wrong bug, but it's okay. And 13,000 people responded, and 51% of people said yes. So we were really happy with this, because Yahoo is a pretty general population, and we thought, okay, you know what, I think the world is ready. Okay, well, that's touchy. So basically, now we want you guys to come to our table. A lot of you already have come by, but really to see what all the buzz is about. Right now, Time Magazine says that insects are one of the top 5 food trends of 2015. So there are there's like protein bars and cookies out there, but for us, we really think that chips can be something great with protein and really like be something that other people can try crickets in because it's such an appealing product to all Americans.
All right. Well, we got one little
Okay.
So to run through this really quick, basically, if we ate crickets instead of livestock, we'd reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 18%. We'd reduce water usage by 50%, and we'd reduce some of the 60 million tons of food waste and put that back into the system.
So here's to a world where crickets are magicians who better our how to reduce CO2 emissions. Our mission is to educate, to entertain, to explore, to change our minds, eating bugs and more. So I think we can take 2 questions about our wrapping too.
Are the chips fried or baked?
So right now they are fried, but we're looking at the possibility of baking them. What was interesting though is we decided to fry because it captures the taste, but because our chip is so high in protein, it doesn't really soak up the oil that much. So it's still very low in fat.
Where do you do your production?
So we do our production locally. We work for the Co-Man here, and they have been really awesome and have worked with other chip companies in the past. Cool.
All right.